The 2022 Bad Guys movie was a huge hit, not only for raking in big butts, but also for being downright spectacular.
You robbed us 3 times.
That was this bank?
The trailer for its sequel just dropped, and it's packed with details and Easter eggs that'll leave you speechless. Did you catch all these incredible references? Where's the Mathau? The Prego, Cappuccino. The best studios have iconic intros that show up at the start of all their movies. Pixar, for instance, has the classic scene of the lamp jumping on the eye. DreamWorks, the studio behind The Bad Guys, has its own legendary intro, the boys sitting on the moon fishing. Naturally, this trailer includes that scene, but with a twist. This time, the one sitting on the moon is none other than Mr. Wolf, just like in the first movie. DreamWorks loves sneaking in fun Easter eggs and references like this. Just look at Shrek. This trailer is no exception, and it even drops hints about the film's plot. Want to find out all 10 Easter eggs and details hidden in the Bad Guys 2 trailer? Let's dive in. Early in the trailer, we see a flashback to a time before the events of the first movie, back when the bad guys were still, well, bad guys, robbing banks. In a high-speed car chase with the police, we can spot something interesting. The heist seems to take place in India or a nearby country. The appearance of the civilians and police, as well as the architecture of the buildings, strongly suggests this. This just goes to show how skilled they were at pulling off heists worldwide. Just don't get me ideas, okay? As mentioned, DreamWorks loves slipping references into its movies, whether it's to pay homage or just poke fun. Shrek, we're looking at you again. The Bad Guys is no stranger to referencing iconic action films, and this trailer features a scene that screams Fast and Furious. During the car chase, Mr. Wolf pulls off such an epic stunt that if the scene were live action, you'd swear it was straight out of a Dominic Toretto movie. The first Bad Guys movie also had moments like this, and it's no coincidence. I wasn't kidding when I said the Bad Guys story is pretty similar to Fast and Furious. Both revolve around a crew of criminals who act like family, constantly evade the police, and eventually turn over a new leaf. The similarities in both the story and the wild action sequences are definitely intentional. The soundtrack for the first Bad Guys movie was unbeatable, and this trailer makes it clear that the sequel will follow suit. Once again, Billie Eilish's Bad Guy is featured, and for obvious reasons. While the song wasn't written specifically for the movie, its title is a perfect match. But that's not even the best part. The instrumental version of Bad Guy plays full blast during the car chase at the start of the trailer. Then when the scene transitions to the present day, after our protagonists have turned good, the song's beat continues, but in a hilariously distorted way. The sound is actually coming from Mr. Wolf's beaten-up car, which is clearly on its last legs. Not gonna lie, that scene had me in stitches. The Bad Guys 2 looks like it's going to be packed with laughs. If you're as excited as I am to see this promising DreamWorks sequel, drop a comment below with #BadGuys. Speaking of Mr. Wolf's beat-up car, there's another little secret hiding in plain sight. On its rear window, there's a drawing of a smiley face with 2 X's for eyes. Could Mr. Wolf have done this to himself to give the car a bit of flair? Well, in this sequel, all the bad guys are trying to live normal lives, but they're still disliked by many. So it's possible that some kid drew this on Mr. Wolf's car just to mock him. Or maybe it wasn't even because he's an ex-criminal. Plenty of troublemakers think it's fine to mess with an old car just for laughs. In the scene where the bad guys are kidnapped by a group of female criminals, we see an old recording of Mr. Wolf pulling off a heist. This type of scene, where the thief descends on a rope to steal and hide him without touching the floor, has become an action and spy movie cliché, and nearly all of them are nods to the most iconic scene from one of the best action franchises ever, Mission Impossible. Like Fast and Furious, the series is also known for its over-the-top moments. If this is a sign the sequel will bring even more action and tension, then DreamWorks definitely has a blockbuster brewing. We already know the movie will feature a flashback of an epic chase scene in India, but that won't be the only country the world's greatest thieves visit. There's a strong chance they'll also make their way to Mexico. Why? Well, they seemingly end up at a lucha libre wrestling tournament, something extremely popular in Mexico. That said, it's also big in the US, a neighboring country, so it's not 100% confirmed. What's clear is that the bad guys will infiltrate this tournament, likely to steal a valuable item or get information from someone important. Since Mr. Shark is a master of disguise and appears wrestling in the ring, he probably takes the place of a famous luchador. Additionally, it's highly likely they'll be discovered and have to make a quick escape. In the trailer, we see several police cars pulling into what looks like a parking lot near a sign that reads Lords of Lucha, which seems to be the name of the wrestling tournament. Shortly after, our protagonists are shown running from a mob of angry luchadors who most likely realize the bad guys stole something valuable from the tournament venue. Could it be the prize meant for the #1 winner? In this scene, the bad guys are fleeing in a van that seems to belong to a hot dog vendor. At first glance, it looks like they just stole the first vehicle they could find in the parking lot, but a small detail in the trailer suggests otherwise. The same van briefly appears earlier in the trailer. Although we only see part of it, the color scheme matches perfectly, confirming it's the same van. In that earlier scene, it's parked near some lucha libre masks, which means it's already inside the tournament venue. This implies they'll steal the van long before leaving the venue. They might even use it for an epic escape sequence, perhaps driving it straight into the wrestling ring. But who says it's a stolen van? Since the bad guys seem to be broke after giving up their life of crime, maybe one of them works as a hot dog vendor and decides to use their van as a getaway vehicle. That said, it's unlikely that Mr. Wolf is the one selling hot dogs, as other scenes in the trailer show him desperately looking for a job, including at a bank he's robbed 3 times before. Unless he's trying to upgrade to a better job or juggle multiple gigs, it doesn't seem like slinging hot dogs is in his current plans. When this movie hits theaters, you can bet we'll be making a full video about it on our channel. If you want to keep getting updates about your favorite animated movies, make sure to hit that subscribe button. How about it? It seems like the bad guys are going to cause chaos in plenty of different places, as there are hints that they'll crash a wedding at some point in the movie. Once again, Mr. Shark is at the center of this possibility, as he's seen kidnapping a wedding planner and pretending to be him with his amazing acting skills. From the looks of it, the wedding they're infiltrating isn't even fully set up yet. In the same scene, workers can be seen carrying boxes of flowers as if they're decorating a church or some other wedding venue. This pretty much confirms the bad guys are crashing a wedding. The real mystery is why. Could it be that the person getting married is a famous entrepreneur they're planning to rob or something similar? That's still unclear, but if there's a scene where Mr. Shark disguises himself as the bride, I'd gladly buy tickets to watch this movie 5 times in a row. Another possibility is that this wedding takes place in Italy, given that Mr. Shark adopts an Italian accent while pretending to be the wedding planner. This could mean one of 3 things. They're actually in Italy, the wedding planner himself is Italian, Mr. Shark just really enjoys pretending to be Italian. The second option seems the most likely, since the wedding planner's van has text written in English. Still, if the movie includes a scene set in Italy, that would be pretty cool. The trailer just dropped, but I can already tell its final scene will have some people laughing hysterically, while others will just feel grossed out. That's because in this scene, we find out that during the movie, Mr. Snake, ever the charmer, manages to win the heart of one of the new characters. They end up dating, and things get pretty cleany. Maybe too cleany, as the two share a kiss that's downright disgusting. I don't know if that's how snakes kiss in this universe, but it looks exactly like how real-life snakes swallow their prey. What's even more curious is that Mr. Snake's new girlfriend appears to be an owl, which is ironic because in real life, owls eat snakes. Could this be a subtle hint that Mr. Snake's new love interest will betray him and the bad guys? I don't even want to think about that. Anyway, the video is wrapping up, but we've left 2 awesome recommendations on your screen. Click on one to keep the fun going. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. I'm down, back,